Hello everybody, it's Crazy Logics 007 on YouTube, Crazy Logics on the forum, and everybody else calls me Damon. I got a Boss amp here now. Is a Boss amp worth even fixing? Cheap, terrible stuff, for, maybe entry level, super entry level, definitely done, but it does say Boss American. And if I can get my fingers underneath here without smashing everything. There we go. It says it's a BA US140 MOSFET with a 3-way crossover, 400 watts, but it says made in the USA. It's got a bass boost, says 200 watts times 2, 1 ohm stable. Well, if you meander around the internet, you're going to notice that Robert Hi-Fi Vega has done a video on this amp. His was in silver, but the one I've got here, and he actually does the dyno test on this thing. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't make 400 watts. But is that the amp's fault? So I've already pulled the side cover off. Kind of peeked at this amp because I was really curious when I got this, and I knew Hi-Fi had done this, done that video. And so let's get it off here. Get it opened up. And if there's lots of background noise, it's because I've got the heaters running. It's cold out, and my puppy dog's running around in here with me, and she's got her little sweater thingy my wife got her on, so she's getting warm. She's actually in front of the heater now. She likes the heater a lot. So we got a Boss Audio, and it is manufactured by Zed right there. It says it by Zed Audio. So I watched Hi-Fi's video after I got this handed to me to fix, and I was like, that's kind of interesting. And he played it, and it did go down to 1 ohm. He had to replace the fuse. This one didn't have a fuse on when I got it, and I found out why as soon as I popped the cover off, and I was just going to peek inside. Somebody's been in here before, and it's missing both its power supply FETs, and this is all shifted over, and the thermal is off the edge here, so we need to redo that. But some things I noticed that Hi-Fi maybe didn't put in his video. I don't know if he noticed it or what, but while Boss may have put that it's 400 watts here, Zed decided to go ahead and tell you really what it does. So if I can get my camera to focus here, here we go. It does 35 watts per channel at 4 ohm, 50 watts per channel at 2 ohm, and 75 watts per channel at 1 ohm. So if you watch his video and you kind of do the math, it hits those numbers. So Zed made the amp hit the numbers. Boss just advertised it as crazy. And so here we are with, even when Boss had an awesome manufacturer making American-made amps for them, they couldn't bring themselves to tell the truth. And I'm not sure how to carefully get these clips off. They're a little different. They ain't got much room here. I'm gonna slowly take these clips off here so we can get to the board. And we're missing a pair of clips, but that's okay. I have some of these clips we can use to clip that power supply there. We will get this good old American-made amp back up and running. It may not be super valuable or anything like that, but it is a good Zed-made amp. It will do what it's rated on the board, and it's going to sound pretty dang clean doing it. It may not be the best amp in the world, but it's definitely better than a Boss, and it is American made. And I love how they put a ground terminal there. They got these plugs here. They've also got fault testing plug right here that's got the DC latch and the negative VCC and all that stuff. Here's their output. So when they would have tested this, when Zed built these, they would have just plugged in, and plugged in for power and ground, all this stuff, and then they would have ran the tests and made sure that it all passed, which I really love. So this thing does have a whole bunch of FETs. These are BUZ 103s on the outputs, and it's got, for a 2-channel, it's got a lot of FETs on there, and that's how they're getting it to be 1 ohm stable, is it can handle the current down there. The reason why it doesn't put out a ton, small transformer, only 2 power supply FETs, so it's not, it's going to put out, the output side is going to handle the current as long as you upgrade the fuse. But I would say probably the weak link was these 2 power supply transistors. That's probably why this one's not working. Excuse me. And probably why I got a hold of it. So she probably blew, and somebody's been in here and they probably found the blown transistors, pulled the clip off, just stuck everything back in when they took it out because they didn't maybe understand what they was doing. I don't know. So do we have any other screws holding anything in? This is a hell of a heatsink. It's got to be custom because it's got this extra channel in here and stuff for the clips and for the holders. There we go. Just need to get her wiggled free a little bit. Let's see if we can find my good mini pliers. These are probably going to be stuck really well due to its age, because it is older. It would be considered old school. Don't want to mess up the insulator. There we go. Just got to barely flick it. Get these to break free. These broke free. These are the diodes, it looks like. Yeah, that's broke free and that's broke free. Alright. Now it slides out. We're going to have to add a little thermal paste because this is a little dry. And we'll fix this thermal resistor. These insulators, I'm so worried they're going to break. They don't feel as warm, squishy, and soft as what they probably used to be. But let's go on ahead. Yep. The blue covering there. Oh, I can still see parts of the legs. Somebody took it out rough. See if I can get that to focus there. Somebody was a little rough taking it out. So let's see if we can't clean that up with a little solder wick and fix them. Get my old man spectacles out here. What else we got in the middle here? Anything else ugly? So I did do a test, but we'll do it again real quick of the FETs. I'm going to do it from the back side, make sure none of them are shorted. A meter out here where you guys can see it. So Hi-Fi did a test, and it did okay. They did a lot of sound tests on it, but I think if he would, he may have missed it. He may have noticed it afterwards because he did look in the guts. But if he'd have looked at the rating there on the board by the speaker outputs, I think it would have been interesting to see if he'd have tested and make sure that it was perfectly that. I know he was having to do it mono, but I think his numbers came up. You know, this thing, if it's 75 watts per channel at 1 ohm, you know, you figure that's going to do double that bridge, so it's going to do 150, and I want to say, as a matter of fact, I can kind of pull it up here. He's playing it. And he's doing his video. Here we go. So let's see. All right. 193 watts at the 2 ohm mono, which would be the same as running at 1 ohm stereo. So, you know, that 150 watts there, it does a little more than that. So it does more than its rated power. So that's good. Oh, I don't have necessarily the right tip on the soldering iron here. Let's add a little solder so we can clean this up. Looks like whoever did this was a little hard on it. We want to get it cleaned up nice. I don't know. Oh, yep, says right there on the board. Gee, thanks, Zed. Making things super easy. The original FETs, so it even tells it on the outside, BUZ BUZ103s on the outputs, and it had BUZ102s on the power supply. It looks like they've damaged a trace, so we'll have to kind of fix that. Oh, and another pad. There is some damage there, so we're going to have to mend that. Looks like whoever took it apart also scraped the hell out of it down through here, through the finish. Their soldering iron must have slipped or something. What I'm doing here is sometimes when you get damage, you got to use like a leg to get the hole to clear out. Okay, so if we get up close here, we have to use, there we go, need a pointer, there we go, and you can see that this part of the plane, which is either the ground or the B plus, is broke off halfway here, and we're missing half of that pad. This pad's gone, and this pad's pretty mangled, so we're gonna have to fix those up. So they kind of mess those up. That's okay, I will fix it up. We'll fast forward through all the fixing so you can get to the good part. So one thing we do need to check, I think this has got 27 ohm resistors in it. Which are going to be okay. I should maybe replace them with 47s because I'm going to put 3205s in this instead of BUZs. 1602s because A, I don't got them. I don't even know if they're available. But if this is the weak length, the 3205 is the beefiest replacement you can come by. And so we will get a pair of 3205s in here. We do need to test some stuff. And I can get it to focus. Come on, focus. There you have it. A little bit of copper braid. Get that all done. Make sure we didn't cause any shorts. But that puts copper between that trace and that center leg like it was missing. Check for everything for shorts. Oh. I soldered them from the top also because the actual negative is on the top side of the board, negative trace, and those were slightly damaged, so I did top and bottom soldering to ensure that we got connection. Alright, so the bench is getting to be a mess. Worked on so many things here lately. So that should get us power. Let's go on ahead and carefully peel this off. Lean these fets forward just a little so they'll slide in. And get a tiny bit of thermal compound on the backs of these. I use these pads, and so we're going to stay true to that pad just enough to make sure that we put a super thin layer on there, because it is rated for 1 ohm. We want to make sure. All thermal compound does is supposed to do. You know, it's actually not as good a conductor as what metal to metal would be if the metal surfaces were perfectly smooth. You know, so that you could dump the heat. What it does is fills in all the cracks and voids and the imperfections of the back of the FET and the heat sink material. Gob it on that because we're going to fix that. skim on the back. You'll note this, if you had one of these apart, you'd notice this material's got fiber in it, and that fiber is just making all kinds of air gaps on this. So we're just going to give it a little thermal compound because we want it to rock and roll. This thing has been abused a little bit. You can tell on the outside of the case it's been through some heck. And obviously somebody tried to fix it up and it didn't go well. Let's see if we can get it back in the case now without mucking everything up. I've got thermal compound. One of the beautiful things about working on amps is all the thermal compound you get to get all over you. It's just so awesome. We want to make sure this stays in there where it's supposed to be. Center these up. Make sure they are in good position. Make sure this is in good position. See about adding some clips. Probably not going to be the easiest ones to put on since they're two-sided clip. We'll probably fast forward through some of this while I struggle to get these on. I've not done this style in a long while, a double one anyway. See, this one's got a broken piece here. I don't know where the ground goes, unfortunately. So this thing will never be perfect, but it'd be a fun little piece if somebody wanted just a little bump or some 6x9 running. Boy, it'd probably do some great on some 6x8s or 6x9s, just in an old truck or something. Okay, let's see if we can get some power. Now, I do have to admit, when I first popped it apart, I checked the drive wave, so the drive wave looked good. And there it is. We have power, man. So I wonder if we can get some tunage out of it. Let's go flat. Worried about the crossovers, but we're going to turn them just to make sure they're not all stuck and full of goo. I need to clean them all. I have not done that, but this is just a quickie. We're going to turn this bass boost all the way off. It was all the way cranked to the max, and the gain was basically all the way to the max. So we're going to put it in the middle there. Got the test speaker. hold it here. We'll see if we can turn up the volume and get any music. We are playing music. Let's try the other channel. Hey, there we go. There's music there. Not getting anything there. So, power supply's up and running. One channel's good. The other channel must have been part of the cause of killing the power supply. Although nothing tested shorted. They may be, something may be blown open. And it's these two for bridged, which it's still just running off this one channel. So I'll check a few things just to double check. It may actually be some kind of something not connected. But we got it up and running. We got a channel going. Give me a minute to peek at it, and we'll see what we can come up with. So what I'm going to do is figure out, I'll test it again, and I'll figure out which channel. I'll check the voltages across these source resistors and see if there's any voltage across them, because that'll tell me maybe if those FETs are open or not. Oh, we did not fix the thermal wire either. There we go. So that's the little thermistor or thermal diode or something, or, you know, little glass thermistor. So that it'll know if it's getting too hot. So I'll run the scope, and if cleaning all this and checking the voltages here doesn't work, then I'll trace the signal to make sure it's getting at least to the audio sections. Here's where the bias is set and stuff. So I'm thinking that these caps right here are probably the caps that go in before the amplification, the output driving section. So I should be able to find a signal hopefully there. That'll tell me everything's good from here to there, and then we might have something else wrong. We might have those blown, but I'll just do a whole bunch of checking. I'm not going to record every bit of this one because it's not that awesome of an amp. It's just really fun that it's a Z-made amp for another company. It's, you know, wasn't top of the line. Seems like I remember somebody, don't quote me on this as being the truth, but somebody saying that, you know, when Boss started, they had Z build their amps so they could, you know, actually get amps out on the market and stuff. And of course they went to China like everybody else, but too bad, so sad. And there you have it. It's playing on this side, playing on this side. And that was just cleaning those. With probably this crossover switch, but it could have been the gain knob. Could have been this two-way, three-way knob. So that's all we did. I didn't even get to checking anything else. Just cleaned it. So I'll squirt them down again, clean some more, and shazam. We got a working amp. Well, guys, like I said, if you run across one of these old Boss that are made in America, and you can pull the cover off and it's still functional and it's still a Z amp, these are good quality amps. They're not like super amps. They're not going to do 10,000 watts, you know, so nothing like that. But they are going to have a decent sound quality, and they're going to do what the Z, they're at there on by the speaker outputs, said they'll do. And so they'd be great for mids. Well, this little one would be great for mids, highs, stuff like that, or running some 6x9s in a pickup. It will bridge mono, and I'm sure it puts out, you know, I don't know if I'd say the equivalent of a Punch 150, because those things were kind of monstrous. But at least a 75-ish, maybe somewhere in there. At least the Punch 45, you'd think, or something. I don't know how you want to compare it. I don't have a dyno. I have to hook up all my loads and stuff and measure the sine wave and do all the math and stuff whenever I want to test for actual power output. Normally I just get amps working, put them on my load bank, and run them up to a clip, and then dial it back just a little bit and let them burn in, and make sure that that they don't get too hot and that they don't blow up again. So, guys, I just wanted to make this quick video showing this amp, showing how neat all that was. It was cool to see one dynoed on Hi-Fi's channel that I actually got to work on, so that's something that's kind of fun and a little bit of a first. I don't normally get a hold of some of these other branded amps. I wish this one would have been a little better taken care of, but we got it functional. I'm going to put a little goo on this to make sure these can't vibrate free, since they're not sitting flat here, and that's as far down as I go because they've hit this backstop. So I'll just put a little E6000 to keep those in line, and we'll put it back together, and somebody can enjoy this amp. So leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff that everybody's always asking you to do, and as always, thanks for watching.